Hey, it's Mark with Mark's Dodgers Cards. Today I'm going to share my thoughts on a few topics in the hobby that have been bubbling around. I don't usually do that too much, but I'm going to weigh in on a few things right now. And then I'm going to show an awesome gift that I got and a couple recent pickups. The first topic I want to just mention my thoughts on is the reinstatement of a number of players, including Pete Rose and Joe Jackson. And I guess I feel like I've shared what I thought about Pete Rose in my Pete Rose rookie card video. I sort of have mixed feelings about him. I really looked up to him and collected his cards very seriously as a kid, and felt very let down when everything came out. And I could see the arguments both ways. I don't really feel super strongly about him, and also Joe Jackson because of his performance in the World Series. And kind of the story around him. But I will say, I cannot for the life of me understand why the rest of the Black Sox were pardoned, including the people who were the main ringleaders. I reinstated. I think that it sends a totally wrong message, especially as there's more and more gambling involved in baseball, partnerships and all sorts of things. I just think it sends the wrong message, and I think it's going to result in contributing to more problems in baseball going forward. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. This one's mine. Curious what you think about it, but that one was a real head scratcher for me, and I think it just is totally bizarre, and I did not agree with it at all. Speaking of gambling, second topic that's been coming up, I think it started from a Jeff Wilson video, and then there's been a bunch of responses, is the issue of the kind of the way the hobby used to be versus the way the hobby is now, the chase and the gambling aspect of it. And I'll just say this, when I was a kid coming up in the 80s, yeah, we totally chased cards. We wanted to get the stars. I also built sets, built several sets as I was doing that, and it was all fun. But it was never the case where you'd get one card that was worth more than the entire box or even several boxes. And I just feel like the way that there's a lot of good things that have come with the modern hobby that are great. And I'm glad to see lots of people engaging in modern cards, even though it's not my cup of tea. I think it's awesome. But I will say that the supercharged gambling aspect of it, where there's just these massive high value cards that people are going after, it kind of makes it almost like the lotto or something like that. And I worry about the impact that that's going to have on future collecting and the hobby in general. And I'll just give an example. I was at the National last year, and there was a guy was sitting next to him, and he had a big stack of cards in front of him, and he got up to leave, and I said, "Oh, you're forgetting your cards." And he said, "Oh no, I don't want them. You want them?" I said, "Sure." I looked at them. They were base cards, but they were the superstars, the biggest stars of the game. Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Freddie Freeman, just loaded with stars. And people were just abandoning them. And I don't know, that would not have happened when we were coming up in the 80s. Maybe that's a good, people moving on from that kind of thing, but that's just not the way that I kind of feel about cards. I would like the card for what it is. And, I think that there's some challenges there with the way that the modern card hobby is developing that I think maybe playing out some now, but may play out more later. So that's sort of something that I kind of thinking about. And then there was another topic that John Mangini brought up about people talking down their cards and, pointing out flaws in their cards. And I do like my cards for what they are. And I point out flaws occasionally as I go along. And I do it because I just want to have an honest accounting of what the card is. You can't really tell from the video. Sometimes there's problems. Also, I don't really collect really high-end cards, and I don't want to create the impression that I might have something that's looks amazing but has a crease in it. So I'll just share that. It's just part of what the card is, and I think that's fine. But yeah, I don't think we should be bashing our cards or anything like that. I think that's just kind of how I approach that. Now, I got a couple of really things I'm really excited about. One is Tony at Tony Talks Cards sent me a really nice little care package. of some Dodger things that he had. He wanted to send me. So I'll just share what they are. He sent me this little figurine, which is on the back, Don Drysdale, who's like is the first player I played or collected, and really completed his whole run when I was a kid. So really love that. Thank you, Tony. And it also provided some other cards. This starting lineup, Don Drysdale, I had not seen this one before, which is really cool. Thank you. And then some of these baseball all-time greats of Dodgers, Carl Furillo, Gil Hodges. I have some of these, but I don't think I have all of these, which is awesome. Pee Wee Reese, Duke Snider, and these are great images. And of course, my guy, Don Drysdale. Then he also gave me some of these. I think these are Topps Archives. They look like 1954 cards. Ben Wade, Don Hoke. And then he gave me this Joe Black, and I really like this Joe Black because I've got this one. So we got both of the Joe Blacks together, the original and the archives. So thank you, Tony. That was really, really kind of you, generous and awesome. So really appreciate it. Then the last thing I'll share is I did get 2 recent cards that I picked up in auctions on Facebook. And, you know, I think I'm pretty happy about these, both because I like these cards and I also got screaming good deals on them, I think. So the first one I got is this 1955 Topps Clem Labine. I needed this card. I do not have it. So this is a pretty high grade card. It's a SGC 7. You know, pretty nice looking card. Now, this was an auction on Facebook. It was listed as a $25 starting bid. I just put in a bid of $35 and nobody else bid on it. So basically I got it for $40 all in. I checked VCP, and the last one that sold was SGC 7 was in 2019 for $75. And then the PSA average for a 7 is $118, and for a 6 is $67. So I don't know. This seems like a great deal to me. Very happy to have it. And then the next one that I got is this Charlie Neal 1955 Bowman in a PSA 7, very high grade. By the way, I'm giving away ungraded version of this in my 1 year on YouTube celebration giveaway. So I'll put a link to that below. Awesome to see people have already entered, which is great, but there is a card of this being given away as part of that. But this example, very nice, very sharp. I'm not talking this one down at all. Again, same seller, so I got to combine shipping, put in opening bid of $25, which was the minimum opening bid, and no one else bid on it. Now, the VCP 7 for average ranges from $60 to $121 with an average of $100. So I don't know. I usually don't think about things like that too much. Like I don't really try for, you know, really high graded commons or, you know, whatever. But I just saw these. They look nice. I put in an opening bid and happened to win them. So good for me, I guess. But I was very, very happy to add those to my collection. And the Neal is an upgrade, and the Labine adds to my 55 Topps set, which I'm slowly building. That's not one of the ones that's on a front burner for me, but I ended up picking it up. So anyway, those are my thoughts on some of the recent topics in the hobby and some recent pickups. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and thanks for watching.